Sense. Hey family, hello, hello, hello. I'm here while the sun is up. Yes, I brought my own son too today. Hey family, hello, hello. Come on in. Welcome to Embrace TV's Word of the Day. I'm dropping stuff. Howdy, howdy, howdy. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Oh, it feels good to be back. You guys, this has been the most chaotic, for lack of a better word, the most chaotic 2 weeks, 3 weeks of my life. And I'm still not centered. You know what I mean? I'm not centered, but I'm getting there. And I'm still working on I just finished doing Perry Girls Karaoke. And so that was fun because we haven't had it in a month. And so this is the first day back and it was fun. I had a toss up between like three different songs. One I couldn't do physically, and my voice just would not do it. The other one I think was going to put everybody to sleep and probably bring them to tears. And I wasn't trying to do that. So I picked the song. It was a good song, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. You know how if for those of you who are singers who just loves to sing, even if you love to sing and you like music, the songs that just really tug at your heart. And the ones, okay, the words, you can just kind of sing to them. Well, it was kind of one that it had a little meaning to me, but not as much as of my first choice. So anyway, I digress. It was fun. If you are not a Perry girl, let me put this plug in. Go ahead and go to perrygirls.com, sign up for the Perry Girls, and then you can do karaoke, which is good. It's like karaoke, and we do it kind of like a pass the cast kind of thing. And it is so much fun. There's always a theme, so there's a theme for the music, so that'll help you pick your song out. And tonight was like summer songs, and so of course Will Smith was my first choice. I knew I couldn't pull that off today, and so my second choice, I did want to do a Porgy and Bess, and it was good I didn't because one of my Perry Girl sisters, I think she was going to do it, and then her husband told her not to for the same reason probably my husband told me not to. Beautiful song, but again, you don't want to put people to sleep. And then so I ended up doing Stevie Wonder's "You Are the Sunshine of My Life" because that has a special meaning. My dad liked it, mom liked it. And it was kind of one of those songs when we would travel cross country to Philly or to Oklahoma. That it was one of the songs I remember being played in the car. So hey, hey there! I see Sissy coming in. I see my daughter coming in, and so yeah, that was fun. It was our first time. I want to say in about a month that we've had it. So this is the first night back. So if you want to participate, you go to karaoke.perrygirls.com. So that's that plug that I'm putting in. So I figure since I'm sitting here, I am going to participate in the word of the day. So I hope life is treating everybody kind. Daughter, I love you. I see you, sweetheart. I hope life is treating you kind. It's been, yeah, really chaotic. It's still kind of topsy-turvy around here, but hey, such is life. And that's how it goes, right? Just buckle up and enjoy the ride. That's what I say, you know. And there's been a lot of life lessons learned in the last couple of weeks. There's been some curveballs the last couple of weeks, but I love you too, sweetheart. Um, but again, such is life. I know God is in control. He's not going to let anything come my way. He's not going to allow anything that's not part of whatever it is he's trying to do. And because I trust him, I'm like, hey, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So that's kind of, but it's taken. There's been a lot of things that have been really kind of exhausting on my part. So I'm usually just kind of coming on like what 9:30, 10 o'clock lately. I mean, I'm getting it in. It's not as long as I'd like. It's definitely not as early as I would like. So today is a little bit of an improvement, I'd say. So I thank you all for coming in. I thank you for coming. I thank you for welcoming me. I thank you for praying for me. I thank you for encouraging me and motivating me and keeping me straight. And keeping me straight. I appreciate that. So, for those of you who have never sat in on the word of the day, or you just finding me here on Periscope and you're like, what is she talking about? Because I'm missing her, and I'm missing the whole thing. Let me give you the whole gist of it. What we do is we draw words from this glass. This is what we do. And I haven't done this in a while because I haven't been using the glass. I've been kind of pulling words depending on the tone of the day. That's a good way to put it, the tone of the day. Um, And so we choose a word here, and we choose the word blindly. And what we do is we want to look at the word and we want to kind of tweak it a little bit. We want to start seeing our life the way God sees our lives, okay? And we want to not be afraid of the things that come our way, the things that come that are unplanned, the things that come that are not part of our list of things to do. But we want to get into the mindset where we trust that God knows what He's doing, okay? And sometimes that can be difficult because we get in our own way. And even though we say we believe in Him and we say we know Him and we trust Him to be the God that He is, our feelings get in the way and we get fearful, we get anxious, and when things don't look safe or we perceive something to be harmful, we automatically get into this defense thing. We automatically get into this mode of let me take care of it, let me fix it, let me do it, instead of just turning it over to Him and letting Him do what He do, and not seeing it as something that's necessarily a bad thing just because we didn't plan it. That it could be something that God is allowing because He's trying to fix something for us better than we can fix it ourselves. It might be something that He's trying to shield us from in order to protect us, because otherwise we would go head first into that thing and get our neck chopped off because we don't know no better, because we don't know everything like we think we do. And He might just be setting something up in such a way that will not only save us but then later bless us. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of it means we need to fall back. We got to really fall back and get up out of ourselves and trust Him more, even in those times, in those situations that don't feel like we should trust. We try to take the reins and just handle it ourselves. So the purpose of the words in the glass is we start with a little bitty step, and the little steps are to pull a word blindly to symbolize the way life will blindside us, okay? And we choose that word, and sometimes it's a really easy word, and sometimes they're easy words, but yet they're negative words or have negative emotions attached to them. So what we do is we want to practice tweaking the mindset, tweak that thing so we can get comfortable with not wanting to take charge of that thing and get comfortable with not seeing the word the way we normally see it. How can we change it? How can we have a better perception of that thing? And that's what this is all about. It's all about perception changing. So if you can do something as simple as pull a word and change your perception of it, then the goal is to take the exercise and apply it to your life. And so get comfortable with changing your perception on the things that happen to you that you feel um, are negative, okay? And instead see it the way God sees it, as something that can be used and that can be beautiful. He can give you beauty for ashes. You understand what I'm saying? And He can turn that thing around. So it's not something that's the go, hey Sabrina, I didn't see you creep in. So it's not necessarily something that's meant to take you out. It's not necessarily, sometimes the enemy is allowed to do things that make us uncomfortable. Just like with Brother Job, he was allowed to do the things that he did. He had to ask God for permission, and God allowed it for whatever reason. He's God. I'm not about to question why he did what he did. I just know God did. But I also know that Brother Job came out on top on the other end. You see what I'm saying? And so God still does that. Hey, Brina. So He still does that. So what we're going to do is we are going to choose a word, and we are going to practice what we preach here, which is we're going to practice changing perception of the word. Okay, so that's what we want to do. And the word, nothing written on the back. The word, I don't know if that's about. I'm going to say tear, because it could be tear or tear. So I'm going to say tear, because tear, I guess they both in a sense could be negative depending on how you look at it. But I want to say tear, because that one is the first one I thought of. So I'll go with my first mind. My first mind is tear. And tears, of course, are associated with crying, which is associated with feelings of sorrow and sadness. And so that's a perfect example of emotions that we can get caught up in because of the things that we deem negative or unnecessary and uncomfortable and sad, and where you can feel some things can be so um, depressing is another way of looking at it. A lot of these emotions that I named off result in tears. And, you know, but I don't, I personally am one of those kind of people. I love a good cry. I love a good cry because I think as God made us to experience the humanness that he put in us. I don't think there is really a bad emotion, including that one called anger, because even the word tells us, we can be angry, but sin not. You know what I'm saying? It's what you do with that anger, what you do when you in that anger. Anger is a human emotion, but it's what you do as a result of it that gets you in trouble. That you know what I'm saying. And so the same with with sadness. Hey there, how you doing? I'm so glad you came in, Crystal. Hey, hey, hey. So our word of the day is tear. It can also be pronounced tear, which is a totally different meaning, but we're going to go with tear. And so tears come often. We cry when we're sad, when there's a death in the family, when things are going on around us that we have no control over, that bring our emotions down, that bring our, I can in the last, I'm gonna say, week and a half, I've had, I would say, three deaths in the family. Only one was blood related, but two that they were family, even though we didn't have the same blood, they were family. And it's times like those when you just want to get on in a corner in a ball and just cry and just let the tears flow. I know in one case, for me, they weren't a believer, so that saddens me. Refused. So it wasn't like the gospel was not given to them. Um, they just flat out refused. That they weren't trying to hear all that, and that's a sadness that I feel is like no other sadness, because you know as a believer, you know what the deal is. And so experiencing the day in day out of watching my mother um, being experienced what she's experienced in having Alzheimer's, and what I know about it, because I've had nothing but time, almost 10 years, to study up and read up and just devour everything I can to get information, and what some early people who have early onset, what they have described as what it feels like. So I can imagine how it probably is a little bit more amplified later on, but the person who's experiencing it can't articulate it. But how that watching and listening to that person talk about how they feel trapped in their own body, and they can feel when it's a short circuit and something's going on. They have a thought, but their mouth does something else, or and then they forget that split second. But it's just a weird kind of thing to listen to somebody give an account of what that feels like. And so that makes me sad. That makes me cry, because I know now at this time where my mom is, where she just kind of stares at me. Nobody can tell me different. Nobody can tell me that she's not aware of who I am. Maybe she can't say it, but it's a look she gives me. And I know my mother. There's a look. There's a look. And I know she's in there. When I look in her eyes, she's in there, but it's like she's trapped so far away. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any kind of sense, that she can't reach. That's the best way I can describe it. So that causes me to cry. That causes me tears. I went to my 35th class reunion and had a wonderful time this Saturday. In fact, I'm still recuperating from that, but that was a blessing. I'm so glad I went. Um, I chose my Stockton family over my DC family, only because I last couple of years that's where I've been, and I really needed to be there, because it's a blessing to roll up on folks that you've been friends with since kindergarten. Everybody can't say that. And there was a room full of people, and so yeah, there were tears, but there were tears that some of us didn't make it this far. And so there was that feeling of, but we're here, so we're gonna celebrate because we're here. And so that brought tears. So there's so many different occasions. You can have happy tears and sad tears and confused tears and frustrated tears. But even in the word, Jesus wept. So I know, some people say, well, crying, especially to men, crying isn't a good thing. You're not supposed to cry. Boys don't cry. I don't know who started that. But, last time I checked, Jesus was a boy. I'm just saying. you know. And there's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with expressing your 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 emotions because God gave them to us. The beautiful thing about tears, and I think tears are water, in a sense. And where there's water, there's life. I'm not, the most scientific person, but I do know that. I know where there's water, there's life, and I think it's really ironic that tears symbolize and are made of water that are streaming when something is like sorrow is welling up in your being. And so even that just for me, the translation is that no matter how deep your sorrow cuts, no matter, you know, what's welling up inside you that's causing you to feel down, the well of water, the life can still be birthed from that situation. That's how I see tears. And um, you know, I believe in a God who notices every time we cry, every time our heart is broken. He doesn't forget. I believe that no tear goes wasted. I believe he's well aware of everything we experience and we fear. And even though I don't believe that there's a scripture that says that he will that actually says he will wipe away every tear, but in a sense he does, because he's God and because he loves us and because nothing that we go through and experience we go through or experience alone. Sometimes we feel alone, but he's always there with us. He never leaves us. He never forsakes us. He's there in the problem before we even get there. It's and going back to the trust of relying on him and trusting that he's already made a way, that he's already worked it out, even though he hasn't handed us the memo yet, which he doesn't have to do, by the way. It's just a trust issue. It's a trust issue, and that it's okay for us to release that thing that's welling up in us that causes the emotions to come up and form tears. That's okay. um, and I'm thankful, especially, I'm reminded these last couple of weeks. Thank you, daughter. These last couple of weeks, I'm just reminded. I think God has really just kind of brought me a little detour from my life's journey, and I'm not really sure what he's trying to show me. I really don't know, you guys, but I know he's up to something. I've felt this in my spirit for the last couple of weeks because it's just so much. I'm usually, doing this. If people who know me know, I'm a Jill of all trades. I'm in everybody's everything. I got 50, 11 dozen things going, and it's almost like I can't function without being that busy. But it's like he's kind of taking me down a road where it's impossible for me to really do more than three. I'm gonna say two or three things, which ain't like me. I get kind of stir crazy because that's not enough. Um, but he's teaching me something, and so I noticed that even in my own speech, in my own coming and going every day, the times when I do feel like I just want to break down and cry, it's almost like he's saying, "Sit down, let me talk to you," and I can sense. If that makes any sense, I can sense that he's trying to show me something. I just ain't I don't think I'm getting the message yet. I really don't. But I know he's working it out for my good. I know he's trying to get a message to me, and I'm just trying to make myself available and more open to that thing. Because even when I come late at night, I just feel some kind of way, and I'm like, Lord, what's going on with me? And sometimes it can get so overwhelming that it does bring me to tears. And it's not a sad thing. It's just a overwhelming thing because I know I can feel him doing something. And if you've ever felt that before, it's the most incredible feeling. It's nothing to be scared of. It's just, he's about to show you something. Just the thought, the master himself revealing something, even just in your spirit. And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. I'm trying to take my time. I don't want to, bombard whatever he's trying to do. I ain't trying to mix it up, put my flavor in it. I'm not that girl. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to sit still and know that he's God. You know what I'm saying? And especially if he's trying to give me something that I can share with you guys and to give you and make it a part of our fellowship. I'm so down with that. But I just, I don't know. I don't know why. So I just sit there and shut up until I know exactly what to do. Um, but it's been mind blowing how he shows up and reveals himself in things like, watching a friend have to bury her son, her second son, and how I literally feel when he tells me just to step back, because I'm such a, do it girl. Okay, I got this. I got, and it ain't about me. And so he's showing me, um, even in my sorrow, even in my sympathy and empathy in some cases, um, to just fall back. And it's not only for the other person, but also for me, so I can watch what he's doing, so I can see for myself what he's always been capable of doing. But in 2017, he still works miracles. He still is the one and only true God. He is still a mind regulator and a healer and a friend. He is a friend, and I marvel. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. I marvel at who he is, you guys. I marvel, and that brings me to tears. When you really allow yourself to sit and think about the awesomeness of God, and that word is not even powerful enough. When you just think about who he is, you can't help but be overwhelmed. You can't. So I've done a lot of that lately, and it does pull me back. And because I have to reflect, and I'm a dissecting kind of chick. I'm gonna sit there and dissect that thing till ain't nothing but skin, ain't nothing but some bones, and the skin is piled over here. I got to see what's really good. Well, what's making it tick? And that could be, I don't know, not a good thing. And maybe that's what he's trying to work on me. Maybe I need to fall all the way back, you know. But he's up to something, y'all. I have absolutely no clue. I know one of the things that he gave me is he has given me this new set. So I'm looking over there because it's coming together. It's coming together. So I'm gonna get this new set together, and because what I've always wanted, my desire was always to be able to bring you guys on with me when I'm broadcasting, even if it's one at a time, and to do that with ease. And so, I believe he's giving me the desires of my heart. And I'm not one of them half behind chicks. That's to put it nice. I'm not a half behind chick. It's gonna be done right. So I'm not gonna just, I thought I was gonna be ready today. So anyway, I did this little thing for period yoga. This is my little son. I love my little son. I love you, little son. I love my little son. I think I'm gonna keep that. But yeah, I am, wherever you are in your life, that there could be some days when you can be high, and there's some days when you can be low, and then there's days that I don't really trip off the highs or the lows. It's those in betweens that get me messed up. Y'all feel like that? When you just kind of, hey, Manda, thank you for joining. I see, I'm looking at the screen down here because I got a setup. It's kind of different today. But it's those in betweens, because those in betweens is when I think Satan tries to get busy. You know what I'm saying? Because he see you ain't really doing nothing, but you're not really close to God, but you're not really talking to him. But then you're not really doing nothing bad either. You just kind of right there, and anybody can just come and pull you, by the collar and just lead you astray, little sheep. you know. And so it's that middle ground, that lukewarm thing that get us in trouble, I believe. So I'm just trying to stay busy. I'm trying to stay busy. I'm trying to work on some things and allow God to just use me. And I do believe this is a time of cleansing for me, and a time of purging. And a lot of that is crying. But again, that's that water, that life. Just wash it out. It's okay. And so, if you find yourself in that little middle funk kind of thing, just ask God to talk to you, maybe a little louder. Can he turn the volume up just a little bit, just a little bit, so you can hear what he's saying. He'll break it down to you where you can understand it. He will do that. I mean, he ain't gonna leave you hanging. you know um and he's not going to send you forth on an assignment knowing that you don't even understand what the assignment is yet. He ain't that kind of God. He don't get down like that. So, I'm happy to be back, and I am really looking forward to the days ahead. I'm working diligently, you guys, to get it together and to bring you something that you would be happy with, and something more importantly that Father God will be happy with, because I do believe He has placed some things in my spirit from a long time ago, and he's helping me to birth some things that He wants me to birth, not necessarily what Darissa wants. And I see that when I follow His instruction and His direction, it comes out so much better anyway. You just can't get better than Him. You just can't. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. And I've shed a couple of tears because I know when Satan's trying to distract me. It's kind of the oldest trick in the book. I'm aware of that one. So that one doesn't get me tangled up too much. Uh, I also know that when he's coming at me, full barrel, then I must be doing something right and pleasing to my Father. He wouldn't be messing with me so hard. I realize that too. See, games by game. Boo. Any whoever. So if you find yourself in a moment in your life these days, because sometimes we all get them. We get stuck in that thing where, and the word is tear. Amanda, I'm talking about tears, crying, sorrow, feelings of that nature. That's not necessarily a bad thing. We all have these seasons that we have to go through. Um, I don't approach those seasons like I used to in my 20s, 30s, not even my 40s. 50s is a different thing for me. And I think, not that I know it all, but I don't know it all, but I know God, and He ain't changed, you know. And I know that there's no point in me reacting the way I used to react when I was a babe in the Lord, or when I was 30, when I was 40. I know better now. I know better now. I don't care what my eyes see. I give myself that 60 seconds to trip. Now you got to come up out that. You can't stay in that. And I've pretty much, I don't have it down pat, but I'm so much better than I was. But I know the game. I know how the game's played. And so I know to snap back. I try to catch myself when I get too far up in this teary thing. And even if I do cry, I cry with a purpose. I cry with intention. I cry with knowledge that it's going to be okay. So I allow myself to have human feelings, but I'm not crying with the, oh, woe is me. I'm not crying because, oh, I'm doomed, because I'm not. I'm saved. I'm not crying because it's never going to get better, because that's a lie from the pit of hell. I'm not crying because it doesn't look like there's no way out. That's a lie, because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So my tears are more of joy. My tears of, I know you're going to work it out. My tears because I know who you are, and that's overwhelming. My tears, the purpose is different. The purpose of the tears, the crying, is different these days. And so I pray that that's your situation. I pray that if you find yourself feeling some kind of way and you crying, it's okay to cry. Just make sure you're crying for the right reason. Make sure that the intention of those tears. He's the same today. Come on, you better say that, baby girl. You better say that. He will be tomorrow. Something about the name, girl. My baby gonna make me put some music on. That's what she gonna do. That's what she gonna do. Honey, you said a mouthful. You know you did. You know you did. Something about the name of Jesus. It never loses its power. It never loses its power. So yeah, just make sure, if you're tearing up, make sure you're tearing up for the right reason. Make sure your tears mean something positive. You're tearing up because you're happy that you're going to overcome, that you have the victory, that He won't leave you. He won't forsake you. He's in charge of everything. He's the God of gods. He's the King of kings, Lord of lords. He's never changing. He's everlasting. He loves you. Cry for that. Cry for all that. Cry for the truth. For the truth. Okay? Remember truth and true. Cry for the truth. The truth is what the words say, what God say. True is what these things say. And you can't trust these bad boys right here. You can't trust them. You can't trust them. Okay? So, there it is. I want to appreciate y'all. I want to love y'all. Thank you. I know it's going to take a minute for people to get used to me being back. So I'm trying to change the look on Facebook so I can do more on my profile page as opposed to the business pages because in classes I have learned that Mr. What's his name? Mark Zetterberg or whatever, how you say his last name, the owner of Facebook. You can post all day long. Ain't nobody going to see nothing on them business pages unless you pay him. You make it rain in his pocket for your ads. Eh, ain't nobody doing all that. Let me go right on back over to my page. So everything I announce, that's what I'm gonna do until I can do better. I'll get the word out one way or the other. Me and the Lord, we on that. We got that on lock. So y'all be blessed. I love